Hello, here are some common contest prep mistakes. We have number 1 is not eating enough calories, number 2 is doing too much cardio, and number 3 is not lifting heavy enough weights. So what I'm going to do in this video is go through and explain very quickly the negative impacts these mistakes have and how to correct these mistakes. So number 1, if we're not eating enough calories, what this does is as we reduce our calories, it also reduces our metabolism. Our body starts to learn how to adapt and live off of those fewer calories. And that means that in order to continue getting fat loss results, we must also continue to reduce our calories. So another negative effect of this is that it increases muscle loss. If our body doesn't have a lot of calories, it's going to try to find ways to reduce the amount of calories it burns throughout the day. And one of those ways will be to reduce the amount of muscle tissue in the body. So it's kind of that phrase that if you're not using it, you'll lose it. So if you don't continue lifting heavy, which is the third mistake most people make, is they'll start to lose muscle tissue due to that lower caloric content and our body constantly trying to adjust to that lower calorie level. So how we want to fix this is we know we must have calorie reduction in order to lose body fat. However, the mistake comes from when people do it for a long duration. So when they're reducing the calories to a certain number, and that number stays the same for a long period of time. So what we want to do is start to introduce caloric cycling, which allows us to do high calorie, medium calorie, and low calorie days. So what this means is, let's say on average we're eating 1,500 calories. We'll have 1 or 2 days a week where we're at 1,800, a couple where we're at 1,500, and then 1 or 2 days where we're down around 1,200. That still gives us the weekly average of 1,500. However, it allows our body, prevents our body from continually adapting due to that changing number. So right when the body is about to adjust to 1,500, you would have that 1,800 calorie day, and it kind of confuses the body, therefore it keeps your metabolism a little bit higher, even though you have that now caloric deficit that you need for fat loss. The second mistake of doing too much cardio, this is in reference to doing long duration cardio. So typically people do fasted cardio. They get up in the morning, they do something at a steady state, so it's a constant level of intensity, and they'll do it for a long duration, say for 60 minutes. So what this type of cardio does is it has an adaptation effect. What that means is our body will adapt to that stimulus, and therefore we'll have to increase our cardio intensity over time. So you have to go for longer, or you have to go for a higher steady state. So basically what happens is very quickly, within a week or two, the amount of cardio we're doing now for the results we're getting now must be increased. And that has a continual effect. So that's not something you can actually maintain for long duration. So what that means is if each week I have to do a little more cardio, over a whole 16 to even 20 week prep, that's not really going to be feasible. So the second effect we have is it increases muscle loss. So again, that comes back to the concept above about the calories is, if we're doing more and more activity that does not require muscle tissue, your body's going to start to strip that muscle tissue off instead of having to pump blood to it and keeping it alive. So our muscles are what's called metabolically active. They require calories and energy all day for our body to keep that muscle. So if we're doing more and more cardio and we're lifting light weights, our body doesn't see the need for the muscle tissue and it will start to strip it off. So how we want to correct this mistake is through the use of interval training. So we can do this with cardio machines or through weight training, which is a method that I prefer. What this means is instead of doing steady state long duration, we're going to change the intensity level throughout the duration, and we're going to shorten the duration due to the changing level of intensities. So what this means is if we train a little bit harder in our cardio, we don't have to train for as long. So you can think of this as maybe sprinting on a cardio machine or outside the track for say 3 minutes, walk for a minute, and doing that for 20 minutes total. That'll actually burn a lot of calories, and it'll help you burn up calories throughout the day to help you get your caloric level lower, but it doesn't require that long duration, and our body does not adjust as quickly to interval-based training cardio as it does to steady-state cardio. So that'll be our fix, is doing intervals. And like I mentioned, you can actually do it with weights. So sometimes I'll have people do weight circuits where they might do 3 or 4 exercises in a row, and they'll kind of keep that going for 10 minutes straight. That allows a high caloric burn, but it keeps the use of the muscles, and it can actually promote muscle tissue growth and or maintenance instead of having muscle loss. So the third mistake most people make is not lifting heavy enough. And again, what this does is it promotes muscle loss, and a big effect of this is it decreases their shape potential. So if a female is coming into a contest and she wants to have nice full rounded glutes, but she's not lifting heavy enough to actually grow the glute muscle. And then as she loses fat over her glutes, it's going to look like her glutes are just disappearing and disappearing. So what we'd like to have is a layer of muscle underneath us. So, and then as the fat comes off, the skin will tighten down to that nice thick muscle. So what you want to have is if you don't lift heavy enough, you won't have that muscle tissue. So you want to maintain heavy lifting to make sure that as the fat comes off, there actually is muscle underneath the skin to create the shape that you would like. So one of the ways to fix this is in your workout structures is to start with some type of heavy training component and then move on to your higher reps and getting your volume in. So for example, in a lower body workout, after a proper warm-up, you would want to add in some heavy squats. Maybe some heavy sets of squats at like 10 reps, 8 reps, 6 reps, maybe even down to 5. So doing more strength-based training. What that does, it allows your body to grow that muscle and it gives you that stimulus to keep the muscle tissue that we have. So again, these are 3 common mistakes, and these are the ways to hopefully fix those mistakes.